Bill Thompson, former New York City Controller, former President of the New York City Board of Education. I'm proud to be here tonight to join parents, teachers, and education advocates in speaking out against school closures and calling for a freeze on all closures starting right now. And as a matter of fact, as a candidate for mayor, I recognize how important this hearing is and how important it is to stand up and say no. And I'm amazed I'm the only mayoral candidate here this evening.
Right.
For more than a decade, Mayor Bloomberg has prioritized closing schools over improving them. The policy continues to fail New York students, and it must end now. We must never give up on our schools and neighborhoods. Schools must be improved so children in every single community have an opportunity to get a great education. Nearly 150 schools have shut their doors instead of getting the help they need because City Hall would rather walk away from schools and communities instead of working to improve them. The schools have been mostly located in some of New York's most challenged neighborhoods and serve disproportionately high numbers of minority students and those with special needs. In a report examining the impact of 21 New York schools that had completed their phase-out, the Youth Urban Collaborative estimated that 65,000 students and those who serve disproportionately high numbers of minority students and those with special needs. In a report examining the impact of 21 New York schools that had completed their phase-out, the Youth Urban Collaborative estimated that 65,000 students would be affected should the policy continue. According to the report, Mayor Bloomberg's Department of Education has focused its systemic school improvement efforts on one key strategy: closing poorly performing high schools. The DOE has used school closure as its primary school improvement policy as opposed to major initiatives to transform struggling schools from within. If this policy continues, more than 65,000 students, more students than the entire Boston public school system, will have their high school experience marked by school closure. There's a belief among educators and parents that many schools are pushed towards failure in order to justify their closure. There is a pattern of the DOE failing to provide support to struggling schools before deciding to shut them down. These charges and the reality is truly disturbing. If closing schools as the foundation of education policy was working, we would have seen wide-ranging success. Instead, there's been failure after failure. Less than half of all New York City students can read and write at state standard, and only a third of Black and Latino students can do so, compared to nearly 2/3 of white students. In many schools in East Brooklyn, Harlem, and the South Bronx, less than a quarter of students are reading, writing, and doing math at state standards. National tests show only modest progress in New York City since 2003, and no closing of the achievement gap. In schools in some of New York's neediest neighborhoods, less than a quarter of students are making the grade when it comes to reading, writing, and math. The outcomes are even worse for students of color. Just 36% of Latino students and 37% of Black students graduate in 4 years with a Regents diploma, and just 28% of young Black males do. The current mayor will soon be gone. But this is not a political matter, and our children and families simply cannot wait for the next administration. We need a freeze on school closures. And we need it now. So I would ask this panel to do the right thing tonight, and vote no on the 22 schools that are in front of us. There is a resolution in front of you also that calls for a moratorium on school closing. Do the right thing and vote against school closures right now. No on school closures. No
on school closures. No on school closures.
No on